1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. Uh oh, that's not a good sign. 1 2. Why is it? All right, that's working. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Oh wow! Shout out to Kevin Reese. Shout out to Kevin. Hey, thank you. Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2 3. 'Oh, sweet. That works. That does sound really good. Awesome. Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. Greetings, greetings. 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2. 'Ta-da. All right, so that works. All right, let's start. It's about 20 minutes from first pitch. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2 1 2. All right, 2 minutes to air. 2 minutes. 2 minutes to air. All right, we're sounding good there. Two minutes. All right. Three test, test, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah, I'll do it now. Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. And we welcome you live from Gainesville, Florida. UCF Softball is on the air as this evening the number 21 ranked UCF Knights will host the number 5 ranked Florida Gators. I'm Eric Lopez here in KSP, Katie Presley Seashell Stadium, for this first of a home and home between the Knights and the Gators. They will play again tomorrow night at UCF in Orlando, 6 o'clock first pitch. The Knights are coming off a 4-1 victory over North Florida. The Knights come in at 36-12-1 on the season, while the Florida Gators come in at 43-7 on the year. They're coming off a 3-1 loss to Florida State on Wednesday night in Tallahassee. Both teams are ranked in the top 25. It's a massive 2 games for both sides. Florida trying to secure a top 8 national seed for the NCAA tournament regionals, while UCF trying to enter to the top 16 regionals. The RPI coming out on Friday has UCF 20 in the RPI. Florida's number 5 in the RPI. The Knights are also 20 in the DSR, a new metric that will be used by the NCAA Division I softball committee this year, while the Florida Gators are also in the 5 spot there in the DSR. So it's a big game, an opportunity for the Knights to really send a statement to be in the mix to host in the top 16. The Knights have currently 8 top 50 wins, 5 of those coming in quad ones, which is referred to as the top 25 RPI teams. And certainly if they can get a win or 2 against Florida here the next 2 nights, they become a serious contender to host for the second time in program history. And really nothing to lose, because even if UCF were to lose these next 2 games, in talking to people that follow the RPI metrics, UCF likely will stay in that 20 range anyway. It would just make the task for UCF to host a lot more difficult. It may take them winning the Big 12 championships in Oklahoma City to pull that off if they can't get at least a split here in the next 2 games against Florida. It's a beautiful Friday evening here in Gainesville. This is the 33rd meeting all time between UCF and Florida. The last time the 2 teams met was in Orlando last year on a game where Isabella Vega got the shutout against the Gators. She will get the ball here tonight as she will be going up against Keegan Rothrock of the Florida Gators. And both aces going in this first game, so both coaches deciding to go with their ace. And should be a lot of fun. I'm in the Radio Road booth here in Gainesville with Adam DeRusha right next to me. Shout out to Adam. He drove with me there because the team we went separate from the team bus. So good times here. You might hear from him from time to time on the background there. It is packed. It's kind of busy here today on the campus. Baseball for Florida is playing against Texas A&M at the same time as this game is going on. Of course, it's a busy and important night of UCF athletics. UCF baseball is in Salt Lake, where they are taking on the Utah Utes. Mark Daniels will have the call on that one on the radio station dial there, 96.9. The game as well as online as well for your listening pleasure. And we will have you the broadcast of this one, of course, tomorrow night. We will be back on the ESPN Plus broadcast. Alex Powers will join me back for there. Hopefully, depending on how tonight goes, we'll do some more radio broadcasts down the road here as the postseason is just a couple of weeks away. Selection Sunday, 2 weeks from this Sunday. It is tense times, of course. UCF, this is the bye week for them. In the Big 12, Florida happens to have their bye week in the SEC, so it just kind of worked out for both teams that they could play this home and home on this weekend. This is the first time, as a matter of fact, in the regular season that UCF will play Florida on a Friday night and a Saturday night. Normally, these two teams in the regular season will play on a midweek Tuesday or Wednesday, historically. Back in 2022, Florida played in a tournament hosted by UCF, and the two teams played on a Sunday night, a memorable game, the highest scoring game between these two teams, won by Florida, 12-11 was the final. The last time UCF was here in Florida was last year as well, the Gators winning that game 3-0 as they split the home and home last year with the home teams winning overall. Of course, for many years, as we'll talk, UCF played here in the regionals and got to their first ever regional final here in 08. They've gotten to a regional final here in 14 and 16. Likely, these two teams will not see each other in the regionals, barring some wacky stuff going on. Tim Walton and Cindy Ball Malone, the two head coaches. Coach Ball Malone and Tim Walton, good friends. They've coached together on the U.S. national team, have now just hugged and are exchanging the starting lineups for both teams right now. And again, let's go through the lineups here. First for the Knights, it'll be Sierra Humphreys to lead it off playing second base. Aubrey Evans at shortstop will bat second, with Beth Damon at catching will hit third. Izzy Mertez at left field will hit cleanup, with Kendall Yarnell at DH will hit fifth. Ashley Griffin at first base will hit sixth, with Coco Jaimes at third base to hit seventh. For the Knights, Zoe Calvez at right field will hit eighth. For the Knights, Samantha Ray hitting ninth for this Knights offense that comes in hitting .327 in the top 50 in the country in numerous offensive categories. That is on track to shatter the school record for batting average in a single season, which is .301. So gives you an idea of where this historic year for this Knights offense. Meanwhile, for Florida, it'll be Taylor Shoemaker, the All-American, the National Freshman of the Year a year ago, will be leading off for Florida, playing center field, with Jocelyn Erickson catching, batting second, with Kendall Grover at third base hitting third for the Gators, with Townsend Thomas in left field to hit cleanup for Florida. Kenley Cahalan at shortstop will hit fifth, with Ava Brown DHing hitting sixth for the Gators. Cassidy McClellan in right field will hit seventh. Madison Walker at first base will hit eighth for the Gators, with Gabby Comilla at second base will hit ninth for the Gators. They will throw Keegan Rothrock to the tonight. Rothrock, of course, 23-5 on the season for Keegan Rothrock. She did not pitch against UCF last year. She was hurt and missed both games against the Knights. She did pitch against them back in 2024 here in Gainesville and beat the Knights. So both teams going with their aces here on this Friday night in Gainesville. So many great storylines, so many memorable moments between these two teams over the years. And it's certainly exciting when they are ranked. Of course, they were ranked in 2015, few back top 25. They were ranked in 2023, back in 2022. We'll take a moment now to honor America with the national anthem. And the national anthem now been sung here. Now both teams will do introductions. Between the Knights will be the visiting team in this ball game. And then the Florida Gators will be introduced. And then scheduled first pitch is 6:02, so about 7 minutes. They start a couple minutes earlier than we do at home at the UCF games. Of course, the Knights coming off the win against North Florida. Of course, winning 2 out of 3 against Kansas. Florida coming off a weekend where they won 2 out of 3 against Auburn. This is Florida's last regular season home game. The Gators will play, their next to last home game. They'll play Florida State next week in a midweek here in Gainesville. Then that'll be their last home game. Then they go to Athens to take on Georgia. I keep getting these weird. It's so weird to see this matchup played this late, but I think it's pretty smart from both coaches. It's an opportunity to get top 25 RPI games for both sides to improve their resumes, not to mention with the conference tournament a couple of weeks away. It's a good tune-up for postseason for both sides, and certainly unique to see these two programs play this late in the season. And who knows, I say they probably won't be matched up in the regionals. You look at the seedings, barring something wacky, these two teams won't play in the regional. In theory, they could always play in a super regional should both teams advance that far. And, of course, Oklahoma City, the goal for both sides on this one. You look at some of the keys to this matchup, certainly free passes. Both of these teams like to erode pitching and want to make the pitchers work. Free passes, they live off of that. Florida has been one of the best in the country for years now in drawing walks. UCF this year has been among the best in the nation in drawing walks as well. So which pitcher has their command early will be very key in this matchup. But certainly Florida had trouble last year against Isabella Vega's changeup. That will be something to watch very closely. And, of course, the Knights haven't seen Rothrock in a couple of years. We'll see how she comes out. She pitched on Wednesday night against Florida State, while Isabella Vega did not pitch on Wednesday as the Knights beat North Florida. That was a game that was started by Tori Payne, and came in relief was Lena Elkins to get the victory for the Knights. So Vega has not pitched since she started the Sunday game against Kansas, whereas Rothrock has kind of had to carry the load for Florida. They've had some injuries to their pitching staff. Ava Brown missed a good chunk of their season. She is back in the lineup hitting, but has not pitched since she's returned from injury. She was kind of been their number 2 pitcher when she went down with the injury. So that will be a storyline more than likely tomorrow night to see how Florida handles tomorrow night's game for both sides, with both teams deciding to go with their aces right off the bat here in the opener. As they're now introducing the Gator lineup with our big new size video board. It's like 2 years old, I believe. We're not too far away from their new baseball stadium as well, so it's going to be kind of lively here throughout the night on the country here. So, kind of sets you the stage here. Both teams are very good playing from the lead. And it'll be interesting to see who comes out aggressive in the early going for both sides. And how they handle, these two teams know their personnel very well. Both staffs know each other very well. So there'll be certainly a feeling out process early on between these two teams. As we approach the top of the hour, lineups introduced here. Kendall Grover being introduced for Florida. They're going to have their new football coach, John Summerall, throwing out the first pitch here for the Gators tonight. Of course, you can watch this game as well, but turn down the volume. You'll have us up. Will be a bit of a delay if you decide to do that with the broadcast, so just keep that in mind, that if you choose the video, watch the stream broadcast as versus listening, there will be kind of a difference from a delay factor. It's called technology. Happy to report blue skies everywhere. There were some gray clouds here about an hour or two ago, which gave me some flashbacks because for many years it seemed like there was always some weather issues with Florida UCF every time UCF came here. 2007 and 2008 in particular, with a regular season game that got rained out. There's been games here back when it was shortened in 2011 due to weather. But all signs are positive that weather is very good here as John Sumber 3-2 the count to Sierra Humphreys here at the top of the first. Rothrock delivers. Humphreys slices it to right field and foul. Three and two the count. Payoff pitch coming. The 3-2 pitch. That's missed. Ball four and a walk. So a leadoff walk to Humphreys. And that'll bring up Aubrey Evans to the plate. So now the count. Coming in now for the senior. 320 on the year. 9 homers, 32 RBIs. Takes there for a ball. 1-0 the count. So we'll do it here. Evans, the senior from Apopka, Florida. 32 ribbies on the year. That is missed. Ball 2. 2-0 the count. Two balls to no strikes to count. The pitch. There's a strike. 2-1 the count. So 2 balls, 1 strike to count here. Evans squares the bunt. Gets the bunt down. Fielded cleanly by Grover. Will throw to first in time to get the out. 1 out here in the first inning. Runner at second base in Humphreys, who walked here in the first inning. So we'll do it again. There's a strike. So Damon at the plate with an 0-1 count. Fouls it back, and the count is 0-2. Damon takes the ball. 1-2 the count. So 1-2 the count here. Rothrock delivers, swing and a miss. Damon goes down on strikes. So we'll do it again. Now with 2 outs, Izzy Mertez coming to the plate. First pitch low for a ball. 1-0 the count. One and 0 the count to Izzy here. 319 with 10 homers, 49 RBIs. The 49 RBIs ties with the team lead. The 2-0 pitch from Rothrock. Miss there. 3-0. 3-0 the count. 3 balls and no strikes to count to Izzy Mertez. Humphrey still at second base, 2 outs. There's a strike. It's 3-1. Three balls and 1 strike to count. Mertez to the right side, fielded there by Walker. Will touch the bag at first to retire the side. Knights get a runner on, but Stranham in second. We head to the bottom of the first. Knights nothing. Florida coming to the plate. This is UCF Softball. Welcome back here, bottom of the first. Gators will come to the plate against Isabella Vega. Again, let's go through the Gator lineup. Taylor Shoemaker will lead it off with Jocelyn Erickson batting second, Kendall Grover batting third, Townsend Thomas hitting cleanup, Kenley Cahalan hitting fifth, Ava Brown at DH will hit sixth. Cassidy McClellan will hit seventh with Madison Walker at first base hitting eighth, Gabby Camilla hit ninth for the Gators. That'll be opposed to against Isabella Vega, who will have the Knights defense behind her will be as follows. In the outfield, Samantha Ray at center field with Zoe Calvis at right. Over in left field, Izzy Mertez. In the infield with Coco Jaimes at third, Aubrey Evans at short, Sierra Humphreys at second, Ashley Griffin over at first base with behind the plate Beth Damon. It'll be Taylor Shoemaker, Erickson, and Grover. 1, 2, 3 to hit for the Gators. Taylor Shoemaker to lead it off here. And again, reminder, people hit me up. Yes, there is a delay between the radio audio broadcast and the stream, so you're going to have to pick one or the other from the audio standpoint. Can't control technology, folks. But glad you're tuning in. Shoemaker, first pitch swing and hits it to center, but right to Samantha Ray. And Shoemaker retired the All-American on 1 pitch, 1 out. Interesting, both teams going with arguably their best all-around hitters in the leadoff spot. Now Jocelyn Erickson to the plate, the senior hitting .426, 19 homers, and 67 RBIs for the Gators. She will hit here. Left-handed hitter takes a strike. 0-1 to count from Vega. And that's high for a ball. 1-1 to count. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. To Jocelyn Erickson, who was awarded the golden ticket last weekend on Saturday against Auburn after the game. She will be playing for the AUSL this summer. We're the NFCA Player of the Year in 2024. And was also named to the U.S. national team's athletes pool, so she'll have an opportunity, if picked, to play on the U.S. national team this summer as well. She's ahead here, 2-1 on Vega. And that's a strike from Vega, and the count is 2-2. The senior from Phoenix, Arizona. Started her career in Oklahoma, and then transferred to Florida, where she's had a legendary career. As Vega delivers out high, and it's full. 3-2 the count. Erickson ranks, by the way, 12th in the best player when it comes to wins above replacement, a WAR category for advanced metrics that judges a player and their value versus an average player. As Erickson swings and misses, Vega gets the strikeout for the second out here in the first inning. Erickson raised the 12th rated player when it comes to WAR at 5.53. But Vega didn't care about that as she gets the strikeout. With 2 gone here in the first. Kendall Grover, a player that's familiar to Isabella Vega, steps in. First pitch to Grover is a ball. Grover's a transfer from Eastern Illinois. She faced Vega and UCF last year in the regionals in Austin when UCF eliminated Eastern Illinois and then would go on to beat Michigan to get to the Austin regional final on that regional Saturday in Austin, Texas. There's a strike call. The count is a ball and a strike to Grover, who was the Ohio Valley Conference Player of the Year last year. And has fit in well this year with Florida. 327 average, 9 homers, 40 RBIs. He swings and fouls it off to the left side. And out of play, and the count is 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. So Vega coming into this ball game 16-6 with a 2.36 ERA, making her 33rd appearance, 19th start of the year. She delivers a 1-2 pitch in the dirt. Did it hit Grover on the hop? It did, according to the umpires. So that's a hit by pitch, and Grover gets on. Nothing new for Grover. That's the 7th time she's been hit by a pitch. That now leads the Florida Gators. Just kind of a one-hop there on the grip. Now the freshman out of Humboldt, Texas, Townsend Thomas, redshirt freshman, 366, 3 homers, 34 RBI, steps in. Left-handed hitter here with Grover at first. Swings away, hits a fly ball to left. Evans and Mertez. Mertez comes in to make the catch from left field to retire the side. So Vega works around. And we are through 1 inning here in Gainesville, Florida, with UCF nothing, Florida nothing. This is UCF Softball. Welcome back. This is UCF Softball. I'm watching Anna DeRusha, who is a commitment to his team, is drinking his second Gatorade Cup. He's going to drink a Gatorade Cup each inning. That is part of the ritual, right? For tonight's ritual here to wish to get UCF some good luck. That and the fact that we're both sitting together. Last time I sat next to Adam DeRusha was the 2023 American Conference Championship in Tampa. Found you in the party deck. You were down 4-0 to Memphis. I sat next to you. UCF came all the way back, won that game, beat South Florida in the semis, and would go on to win the American Conference Championship game against Tulsa. Run ruling the Golden Hurricane in what would be UCF's final American Conference game in program history, winning the 2023 American Conference Championship in Tampa, Florida. Of course, Chloe Evans was part of that night's team. She is part of the Gators staff. She said hello to Adam earlier, gave Adam a hug, did not give me a hug. So that sting a little bit. I may have to bring that up to her tomorrow night when she comes down to the booth. Up in Orlando, 6 o'clock, Knights and Gators tomorrow at UCF. It's going to be packed, folks. Expected to be a sellout. People are asking for tickets. The secondary market's over $100 if you want a ticket. Going to be right up there with Oklahoma and Texas in 2024. OU was like a $250 secondary market. Nonetheless, that's why we always encourage you to get your tickets early. Still some available. Kendall Yarnell to lead it off here against Rothrock. First pitch high for a ball. 1-0 the count. To Kendall Yarnell, the sophomore. Hitting .367 with 14 homers, 43 RBIs. Takes a strike from Rothrock. And it's 1-1 the count. Kendall's had a big sophomore year. Come to the national scene. Takes a strike there. Yarnell comes into this ball game. .367 average, .833 slugging. That is slightly behind Stephanie Best's 2004 year. As Yarnell takes a ball. Stephanie Best in 2004 has the single season record for slugging percentage at .840. Yarnell's at currently at .833. 2-2 the count. Rothrock delivers. Yarnell pops it up. Thomas in left field makes the catch. Yarnell is retired for the first out here in the second inning. These are two pitchers that are very difficult to hit against. They are among the nation's best. Vega, for example, is coming into this averaging, giving up just 4.97 hits per 7 innings. As Ashley Griffin comes to the plate. Takes a ball, 1-0 the count. Vega's ranked 30th in the country. Rothrock is at 4.53 hits per 7 innings. That's ranked 15th in the country. The 1-0 is missed there, 2-0. The count to Griffin. Rothrock delivers. That's low. 3-0 the count to Ashley Griffin. Hitting .266 on the year. 3 homers, 30 RBIs. See what you can do here on 3-0 against Rothrock. The strike. Well, one thing I've noticed here, I already missed my broadcast partner, Alex Powers. I'm taking him out of breath. Forgot this audio stuff, so you got to work solo here. It's going to be tricky. It's all good. 3 balls and a strike, getting the rust off. It's a strike, and it's 3-2 now, the count to Griffin. So Rothrock's come back here to work the count full. 3-2 the count. Griffin fouls it back towards us, but more towards the netting by the television booth. That's where our good friend Ryan Urquhart and Alicia Ocasio calling the game tonight on SEC Network Plus. For those of you that are tuning in, that's who they are. Found out before the game, Ocasio lives in Orlando. Orlando native. Of course, played here at Florida, helped them win the national title. In fact, Adam DeRusha used to catch her when she was playing. Griffin swings and misses as Rothrock gets the strikeout. 2 gone here in the second inning as Griffin goes down on strikes. And bring up Coco Jaimes to the plate. .283 average on the season with 1 homer and 13 RBIs for the sophomore. First pitch to Jaimes. Ground ball to short. Cahalan is there. Will throw to first in time to retire the side. A 1-2-3 inning for Rothrock and the Gators as the Knights go down in order. We head to the bottom of the second. Still no score in this top 25 matchup between number 21 ranked UCF and number 5 Florida. This is UCF Softball. Bottom of the second inning here in Gainesville at KSP. Eric Lopez here with you. No score between number 21 ranked UCF, number 17 in the Softball America poll, number 21 in the D1 Softball poll, number 21 in the ESPN poll. Gators ranked 5th and 8th, respectively, in those polls. Eric Lopez here with you. Bottom of the second, no score between Florida and UCF. 33rd all-time meeting between the Knights and the Gators. UCF's first ever NCAA tournament win came on this same stadium. Of course, the stadium looks drastically different than it did 21 years ago when the Knights won the A-Sun Championship and made their first regional in 2005. They eliminated Florida, who was the number 13 national seed that year. Stephanie Best, the UCF Athletic Hall of Famer, with a marquee game. And that would be the last game coached by Gator coach Karen Johns, as her and Florida parted ways after that NCAA tournament. Then AD for Florida, Jeremy Foley, went on a search, and he hired a head coach from Wichita State by the name of Tim Walton. And that's how that has gone pretty well for Florida since. Kenley Cahalan to lead it off against Isabella Vega. As Cahalan takes ball one. Cahalan, the senior, hitting .380 on the year, 15 homers and 59 RBIs on the season. Having an All-American year for Florida. Moving over from third to shortstop this year. As Cahalan ahead 2-0. There against Vega. Of course, that was UCF led by head coach Renee Lourdes Gillespie. The Knights played many regionals here in 05 and 2008 as Cahalan grounds to third. Jaimez is there, will throw to first in time for the 5-3 ground out as Vega induces Cahalan to the ground out. 1 up, 1 down here in the bottom of the second. That'll bring up Ava Brown to the plate. But the Knights got to their first ever regional final here in 2008 when Allison Kime, UCF Athletic Hall of Famer, upset number 1 ranked Florida 1-0. In fact, she drove in the run on a walk-off hit, scoring Tiffany Lane, or Hillary Barrow from third base, I should say. I should know, I was here. They beat Stacy Nelson. It ended the Gators' 36-game win streak. The Gators would come back and win the Game 7, if necessary, game to reach the World Series. Super Regionals, and go on to make the World Series that year. As Ava Brown is ahead 2-0 the count after taking a couple of balls here against Vega. Ava Brown has missed a good chunk of the season. Got hurt up in the Judy Garman tournament against UCL in that tournament. Came back a few weeks ago. Is back to hitting and starting as an offensive player. Has not pitched since coming back from injury. She was a weapon out of the bullpen and as a starter. And that is something that, certainly talking to some of the Florida and local media, that is the big question is, will we see Ava Brown pitch at some point here, right by postseason? Because that is the big question for Florida, is you know what you're getting in a healthy Keegan Rothrock, but behind him it's been a little up and down. 3 balls and a strike to count here to Brown against Vega. Brown with 6 homers, 22 RBIs on the year. Rines it off Vega, who quickly picks it up and throws to first in time to retire Ava Brown for the second out. Then the entire Knights infield will come out to check on Isabella Vega. So will the Knights trainer, as that was a hard hit ball right to Vega. But Coach Paul Malone also coming out, and I think they're going to check to make sure she's all right. Her instincts, though, did a great job just to come up with it and throw out Ava Brown. Right now, she's right now talking to the trainer, and Vega's like, I'm good, I think. So we'll see what they attend here. If she'll stay in or if they got to make a move. So far, it looks like they may see what they'll do here. Looks like Vega's going to stay in. Some smiles. Good applause from the Gator fans. We're very respectful, very knowledgeable Gator fans here. Certainly reminds me, I'll never forget, 2008 when they gave Allison Kime a standing ovation in that regional final I was talking about in Game 7. They gave Shelby Turner a standing ovation after the 2016 regional final. UCF has played here in a regional final in 2008, 2014, and 2016. They have played in an NCAA tournament regional in 2005, 2008, 2010, 2012, 2014, 2016. It's interesting because in the Sidney Ball Malone era, it's been going to Tallahassee that's been the trend. Going to FSU in 21, going to 23, and then 24 for those regionals. UCF in the Renee Lours-Gillespie era only went to Tallahassee once in 2015. Cassidy McClellan at the plate swings and pops it up foul territory. Jaimes gives it a race, but it's over her shoulder but out of her reach, and the count is 0-1 to McClellan, who has 10 home runs, 37 RBIs on the year for the junior out of Lakewood Ranch, Florida, the same area that former Knight Denali Schoppacher and Kira Klarkowski are from. McClellan, a left-handed hitter, has won the job in the outfield for the Gators. As Vega on the 0-1. There's that changeup, just missed low for a ball. But it's been interesting to contrast. It seemed like every other year UCF would play in Gainesville in a regional. They have not played in a regional here in 2016. That should not happen this year. In a year where the committee will seed 32 teams for the first time in the sport's history. There's a swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. So, yeah, it's kind of turned where it's Tallahassee that's been the trendy deal for UCF. Of course, last year, UCF, for the first time ever, traveled outside the state for a regional, going to Austin, Texas. 1-2 from Vega is high, 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. Of course, they got to the regional final that year. Knights pretty much a lock to make a 6th straight NCAA tournament appearance, a first in program history, going that many consecutive seasons. In fact, prior to this streak in the Coach Ball Malone era, the longest streak UCF ever had was 3, 2014 to 2016. Speaks volumes of the job that Coach Ball Malone has done here. 2-2 the count. That is, or 3-2 I guess is the call. And that's a walk, is a missed outside. And McClellan draws a 2-out walk. That was close in the outside. So a 2-out walk to McClellan. That'll bring up Madison Walker, the transfer out of Missouri. Out of Olathe, Kansas, the same spot that Kendall Yardell is from. Don't know if they know each other or not. Might be a connection to travel ball. Who knows? But Walker now at the plate. Takes ball 1, 1-0 the count. So 1-0 the count. Walker with a 1-0 count against Vega. The 1-0 pitch from Vega. Just missed there, 2-0. Now, of course, our view that a little different. We're on the second level in the radio booth. The road visiting booth is more towards the right hand, the hitter's box and the left-handed hitter's box. 2-0 pitch. Walker bloops one to left center. Will drop for a hit. Ray will pick it up, throw to second. It's a bloop single for Walker, the first hit of the ball game belonging to the Gators here in the second inning. So a bloop single for Walker, and that is significant. Now Gabby Comilla will come to the plate for the sophomore. No homers, 24 RBIs. She will hit here. Will take a hit here with 2 on, 2 out. And Coach Ball Malone's going to come out here. And let's see what she notices here. He's talking more to the defense right now with Jaimes Evans defensively. Vega, in the meantime, is talking to Beth Damon. So that might be a conversation over the defensive alignment there on that bloop single. Coach Ball Malone steps out. So again, Gators with an early threat here in the second inning. Comia coming to the plate. Going against Vega. 2 on, 2 out. Hit by pitch and a blue single. Now Comia with an opportunity against Vega. Vega. Richard Softball delivers on the first pitch. Comia takes a strike. It's 0-1. 0-1 the count. Vega trying to get out of this jam in an inning where she got hit by a line drive. The 0-1. Comia slaps it foul down the left field. Aubrey Evans is there. Comes over from short to make the catch to retire the side. Good job by Evans getting to that ball. And Vega works out of the jam. Gators get no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left on. We are through 2 here in Gainesville with no score between the Knights and the Gators. This is UCF Softball.
All right, Gator fans, it's time to play a game of Gator Softball, higher or lower. Our contestant, Marty, on her 55th birthday, will have to answer if the player's jersey number is higher or lower for these softball legends. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Your player is number 16, Allison Sparkman. Is Allison's number higher or lower than Corey Otis?
Higher.
The answer is higher. Courtney Moore, 33 for the Gators. Next one, is Allison's number higher or lower than Laura Nader?
Higher.
The answer is higher, just by 1. Laura wore 17. Final question.
Top of the third.
Higher or lower than
Still no score. UCF top in Florida, top 25 matchup, 33rd all-time meeting between these two teams. Rothrock finishing up her warm-ups for the Gators. No runs, no hits, no errors for UCF. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for Florida. Of course, these two teams will play again tomorrow night at the UCF Softball Complex at 6 o'clock. You can watch that one on ESPN+. I will be on the broadcast with Alex Powers. And a reminder, of course, this game on SEC Network Plus. Yes, there is a delay. I've gotten multiple. That is normal. I'm not Einstein. I didn't create the technology on how broadcast, all that stuff with radio and TV and internet works. Zoe Calvis will lead it off. I mean, you could pause the broadcast stream over there as far as the TV and just match it up with the audio if you want to do that. That's what a lot of people tend to do. I tend to do that when I listen to Mark doing football or basketball on the road. Speaking of Mark, he's in Salt Lake City tonight. 3-game series, UCF baseball at Utah. First pitch, 8 o'clock. Big series for Rich Wallace and the Knights baseball team. Here, it's Zoe Calvis. Lead it off here against Rothrock. Tries to bunt. Bunts foul to the left side as the ball goes to Zoe Calvis. 329 average for the sophomore. No homers, 10 RBIs on the year for Calvis. Calvis will be followed by Samantha Ray and Sierra Humphreys. 8-9-1. Rothrock delivers. This is for a ball. It's not often you see a left-handed catcher thrower like we do here with Jocelyn Erickson. It's been working for her. Won the Gold Glove last year as a catcher. Was a Gold Glove Award winner. 1-1. Calvis pulls the bunt back, takes high, 2-1. Infield in for the Gators. Defensively against the slap hitter Calvis. 2 balls and a strike. Calvis takes a strike there. It's 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes to count. Rothrock. This is high, 3-2. I'm not sure. I mean, of course, Friday nights across the country, there's some marquee games. I'm not sure there's a better pitching matchup tonight across the country that we have here tonight with Rothrock and Vega going at it for the first time head-to-head in their respective careers. 3-2. Calvis up the middle and through. A first night hit comes here in the top of the third, courtesy of a Zoe Calvis single here for UCF in the third. Good piece of hitting by Calvis, who drove in a run in the victory over North Florida on Wednesday. I talked to Zoe after the game, feels comfortable. Has learned a lot this year. Remember, she started her career at LSU last year, didn't play much. This is the most she's played. Just a sophomore. Boy, she's been solid as Samantha Ray pulls back, takes ball 1-0 the count. We mentioned both of these pitchers, 2 of the top 30 in the country in giving up hits allowed per 7 innings. They don't give up a lot of hits. Hits could be a premium here tonight, so certainly situational hitting will be a big factor in this ball game as Ray tries to bunt foul. And that's something that certainly UCF, it cost them in the Sunday game against Kansas in a game where they had double-digit hits and only scored 2 runs. And for Florida, that has been a bugaboo for them the last couple of weeks, has been situational hitting. Talking to the Gator people here prior to the game. 1-1 the count to Ray, left-handed hitter against Rothrock. Squares the butt, gets it down to the right side, fielded cleanly. Throw to first is in time with Comilla covering the bag. As the play is made there by Walker, the first baseman, was coming in through to Comilla for the out. So runner at second with Calvis at second base. And Sierra Humphreys will come to the plate with 1 out. So Ray out there on the sacrifice, and now back to the top of the order in Sierra Humphreys. Humphreys walked back in the first. That's missed ball 1. 1-0 the count. 1-0 the count to Sierra Humphreys. Humphreys lines it to second, caught by Comilla, who touches the bag at second and doubles off Calvis to end the inning. A double play by the Gators ends this inning on a line drive by Humphreys that Comilla made the catch, and her mobility moved her, was already moving to second base and doubled off Calvis. So the Knights, after a promising start, don't get anything out of it. No runs a hit, no errors, no left on. We're through 2.5 here in Gainesville. Still no score. Between Florida and UCF. This is UCF Softball. Bottom of the third inning here in Gainesville. No score, UCF and Florida. Top of the order coming up for the Gators, Taylor Shoemaker, Jocelyn Erickson, and Kendall Grover against Isabella Vega. Both teams with a hit so far in this game. Eric Lopez here with you in KSP in Gainesville, Florida. Glad tuning in, wherever you're tuning in. Sitting next to UCF Director of Ops, Adam DeRusha, who used to be here at Florida. Had 2 different stints.
They appeal.
No swing. 2-1 the count here to Shoemaker. So Taylor Shoemaker at the plate here for the Gators. The 2-1 pitch. Shoemaker pops it up. Foul territory. Evans calls off. Jaimes makes the catch at foul territory. And the first out here in the third as Shoemaker is retired. So one down here in the third inning. That'll bring up Jocelyn Erickson to the plate. Of course, Sidney Ball Malone and Tim Walton know each other from the U.S. National days on the staff with Heather Tarr, going back to the U.S. Junior National Team in 2019 and coached on the U.S. National Team. Erickson drops a base hit into left field. A one-out single for the All-American Jocelyn Erickson. He gives the Gators their second hit of the ball game and has a runner at first here with one out here in the bottom of the third. The Erickson single. That'll bring up Kendall Grover to the plate. It was Tim Walton, as a matter of fact, was one of the people that recommended Coach Ball Malone to then UCF Athletic Director Danny White when the job opened after Coach Renee Loris-Gillespie left to become the Iowa head coach after the 2018 season. Tim Walton had a long-time friendship with Coach Ball Malone's college coach, Brian Colsey, who was the head coach at Pacific for over 3 decades. Ball and no strikes to count to Kendall Grover. This is there for a ball. Of course, Pestrak was on the staff along with Kenny Gajewski. Pestrak would follow Kenny Gajewski when Gajewski was named Oklahoma State head coach following the 2015 season. Pestrak joined him as an assistant, was there for almost a decade before coming here to UCF last year. Grover hits it foul off the netting and out of play. 2-1 the count to Grover with Erickson at first base. Of course, Tim Walton among his staff, Francesca Anea, who's been the assistant there since 2024, came down from the booth. She was a national broadcaster for ESPN, did Gator games for many years, and of course was my analyst for 3 seasons. That ball's hit foul down to third base. From 2021 to 2023, Francesca did color commentary at UCF games and clearly decided I've had enough of that. I'm going to just go into the coaching circle, and has done very well. Tim Walton has made no secret. He has kind of showed Fran, basically showing everything in the hopes of eventually maybe one day being Francesca taking over for the program whenever Tim Walton decides he's had enough coaching. Of course, Walton signed to a long-term extension, so that's not immediate, but he has been very open about that. That was a big about having Fran be the heir apparent if it works out. 3-2 the count to Grover. Grover lines it foul. Good at bat here from Grover. And we'll do it again. So 3 balls, 2 strikes to count. No truth that I will go into coaching. You don't have to worry about that. Erickson at first base, singled here with 1 out. 3-2 pitch to Grover. Off-speed pitch, Grover drills one to deep left field, and that ball is gone. 2-run shot for Kendall Grover, her 10th of the year. Gives the Florida Gators an early 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the third. That was a pitch that hung for Vega, and again, I mentioned earlier in the previous at-bat that Grover was familiar with Vega from the matchup last year in the Austin Regional. Grover has good power, was mainly a catcher, could play third. She's played mainly third base this year. Coach Walton really was excited to get her. And she delivers there on a 2-run homer. So Florida now with a 2-0 lead here in the third. Thomas tries a bunt. The ball goes foul down the third base side. And the count is 0-1 to Townsend Thomas. Of course, this ballpark's 220 to center, 200 to left, 200 to right. How would you? I don't know if people describe it as a hitter's park or a little more hitter's park. A lot of renovations to this, which Tim Walton was involved in. They have shade. They've got their own clubhouse, new video board, scoreboard. The 0-1, Thomas slaps it foul out of play to the left side. So the Gators with a 2-0 lead on the Grover 2-run homer. Damon now talking to Vega to have a word. Kind of settle her in. That is, by the way, the first 2 runs that Florida has scored against Isabella Vega in her career. Of course, last year she started the game in Orlando and pitched the shutout as Thomas delivers a base hit to left field. Mertez will play it in. And it's a single for Thomas here in the third. Vega pitched the 7-inning shutout in a game that was the Autism Awareness game last year, March 26th. Gators touch her up for 2 here, so she goes 9 1/3 innings before giving up a run to Florida. Cahalan now at the plate with Thomas at first. Cahalan swings at the first pitch, pops it up. Humphreys makes the catch shy of center field there, so behind second base. As Humphreys moved over, as Cahalan's retired for the second out of the inning. So 2 down. That'll bring up Ava Brown to the plate. Right-handed hitter steps in with a runner at first and 2 outs. Brown takes ball 1, 1-0 the count. Thomas 7 for 9 on the year in stolen bases. In case you're wondering, Florida doesn't run a lot. They really play for the big innings. The 1-0. Miss there. 2-0 the count. It's a Florida team that's hitting .366 coming into this ball game, 4th best in the country. 2-0. Miss there, 3-0. Now we're obstructed from the Knights bullpen view, so I cannot tell you if bullpen is up or not. I will be dependent on others. You'll know when we know. 3-0 the count. That's a strike. It's unique. Again, this is with all the new setup. We are up in the second level. Our press box is towards the right to your left side if you're watching the game, on the left batter's box. For unique angle. The old setup, it used to be we were behind home plate. 3-1. Brown gets under it, hits a fly ball to the left. Mertez takes a couple steps back, makes the catch, side retired. But the Gators get 2 runs on the 2-run homer by Kendall Grover. And at the end of 3 here in Gainesville, it's Florida 2 and UCF nothing. This is UCF Softball. Welcome back. Top of the 4th inning. Gators with a 2-0 lead over the UCF Knights on a 2-run homer by Grover. And so the Knights will have to get something going here against this Florida Gators in this top 25 matchup. Kind of check out some scores from across the country while we get a chance. number 4 ranked Nebraska, I'm going with the ESPN poll, beating Iowa 9-1. Louisville beating Syracuse 13-5. Louisville top 25 for the first time. Duke with a 3-2 lead over Clemson in a top 25 matchup in the ACC. That is significant. Those are two teams. UCF, of course, played Duke earlier this year. That could be a potential site. UCF, if they don't host, could go to Duke. Clemson trying to make a push to host in that series. Florida State coming off the win against Florida with a 1-0 lead over Georgia Tech in the top of the 4th in Atlanta in a 3-game series there. Arkansas ranked 6th in the country with a 3-0 lead over Missouri in Fayetteville. LSU with a 1-0 lead over Mississippi State in the bottom of the 3rd. That's, again, bubble hosting situation ramifications there. Aubrey Evans swings at the first pitch and delivers a base hit to center field as we start the 4th inning with the senior Evans single to start the Knights' 4th inning. Only the second hit of the game for the Knights comes from Evans with the single. So Aubrey reaches here. She'll be followed by Beth Damon now, who comes to the plate, and then Izzy Mertez. So now Damon, who has 12 homers, 43 RBIs, calls time to get her glove type wrapped up there. Now steps back into the box. Rothrock, first pitch. Damon swings, hits a fly ball to center. It's carrying, but it's going to stay in the park as Shoemaker makes the catch. For the first out here in the 4th as Damon is retired on the fly out. That'll bring up now Izzy Mertez hitting in the cleanup spot tonight. Interesting, the Knights tweaking that order. Reaching over 7 runs a game this year. Mertez hits it to left field, foul. Now to play to left field. Right by the Stacy Nelson Plaza, which is set up there in left field by the burn. That is, of course, named after the former Gator great Stacy Nelson, who's a Florida Gator Hall of Famer and All-American. Helped Florida get to the National Championship Series in 2009, losing to Washington. Mertez takes for a ball. A ball and a strike to count to Izzy Mertez with Aubrey Evans at first. 1 out here in the 4th inning. Knights down 2. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for Florida. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for UCF. The 1-1, Mertez takes there for a ball. 2-1 the count to Izzy. 2-1 the count. Rothrock delivers. Mertez grounds it foul down to third base. 2-2 the count. Two and two the count. Rothrock delivers. Upstairs for a ball, and it's full. 3-2 the count to Mertez. Rothrock on the payoff pitch. Mertez fouls it off. We'll do it again. Mertez 0 for 1 so far in this ball game. Hitting here with 1 on, 1 out. Rothrock delivers. Missed. A ball, and that's a walk to Mertez. And it's 2 on, 1 out for the Knights here in the 4th inning. So Izzy working, drawing the walk. Now Yarnell to the plate. 0 for 1 here in this game. Kendall to hit here. 2 on, 1 out for the Knights. Rothrock delivers. That's low for a ball. 1-0 the count. Time called as Erickson's going to talk to Rothrock. Coach Ball Malone talking to Yarnell. Of course, Kendall Yarnell, 14 homers on the year. Only Jada Cody with 15 and then Stephanie Best have hit more home runs in a single season than Yarnell. She hits here with 2 on, 1 out. A 1-0 count. Rothrock delivers. Yarnell fouls it off, and it's a ball and a strike. Interesting how both head coaches will manage this game because, again, these two teams will play tomorrow night in Orlando. Do they try to preserve some arms for tomorrow night? Do they try to add, we'll see how this game goes. Rothrock delivers. Yarnell takes a strike, and it's 1-2. So a ball and 2 strikes. Rothrock looks at her wrist. And we'll call time. Hard to see where the pitch clock is. Of course, you have 20 seconds. Right now, Coach Ball Malone having a discussion with the umpiring crew. Now Tim Walton will take his turn to talk to the home plate umpire. These two are pretty competitive, Coach Walton and Coach Ball Malone. And now the umpire's going to discuss. I think Tim Walton told him to talk it through. Not sure what it's about. The talking is over now, and it's still, I believe, a 1-2 count here to Yarnell. 2 on, 1 out here in the 4th. Swing and a miss, and Yarnell goes down on strikes. So Rothrock gets Yarnell on the strikeout. 2 on, 2 out here in the 4th. That'll bring up Ashley Griffin to the plate. Well, Coach Ballmalone's still really upset with the whole plate umpire, and I gotta think it's a balls and strike situation. Not sure what else it could be. Could be a time violation. Actually, that's a good point. As Griffin hits a fly ball to right, but it's going to stay in the park, and the catch is made to retire the side. So the Knights threaten with a hit and a walk, but do not score. No runs a hit, no errors, 2 left on. We're through 3.5 in Gainesville. And it's 2-0 in favor of Florida. I was able to hear Coach Bolo. That was, I think, a discussion over the Rothrock. As a pitcher, you're supposed to throw the ball within 20 seconds. And I don't even know where the pitch clock necessarily is set up here. So there's one behind home plate, and there's one by the scoreboard. And that has been an emphasis for the last couple of years, and it looked like Rothrock went over the limit, the clock there, which would be a ball, a violation. I think that's what Coach Ball Malone was more upset about. Because Keegan Rothrock definitely does take her time, but it's just so, I remember when that rule first came out, it was so inconsistent. And it's very up to the umpiring crew when they, some of them you call it, some of them don't. I mean, certainly I'll never forget in Tallahassee, I believe it was 23 when the FSU coaching staff was constantly barking up the ear of the umpires to throw a call on Sarah Willis, and the umpires kind of caved in on Willis in 2023. The funny part is that was all created because the narrative was, hey, the games are going too long. Let's speed it up by having the pitchers throw quicker. They also have it for the hitters where it's every 10 seconds. What nobody realizes, that really doesn't help when the strike zones are tight sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It's a little inconsistent. That's what's creating the length in games. It's It's not how long a pitcher takes to throw a pitch. It's more about the strike zone and the zone because more and more teams are taking pitches and daring you to call strikes. So there's my soapbox for the day here. Bottom of the fourth, 2-0 lead for the Gators. As Isabella Vega out to work here. I didn't even take a break there. I just kept going. She will face Cassidy McClellan, Madison Walker, Gabby Comilla are the scheduled Gator hitters. 7, 8, 9 here against Vega in the bottom of the fourth. Oh. McClellan at the plate. First pitch, takes the ball. Might want to take a picture of that, Adam. That is, I won't say what it's about, folks, but Adam knows what I'm talking about. A ball and no strikes to count. McClellan gets the bunt down. Vega fields, throws to first. Humphreys gets there in time, makes the catch to retire McClellan for the first out here in the bottom of the fourth. So good job there by Vega, and then Humphreys hustling there because Griffin was in on the bunt. Good defense for the Knights, of course, for the first out. Madison Walker will come to the plate. Go to UCF_softball. There's some unique photo shots I'm sure you're going to be taking throughout all the different angles here at KSP. Madison Walker takes a strike, 0-1. Walker does a single in this game. Couldn't hold her swing there. Although the umpire disagrees with me, says she did. One of the beauties of doing radio here, I can be a lot more opinionated on the call than I can on the telecast. How is that not a swing? Wow. All right. 1-1 pitch. Walker 2-1. I mean, we have the perfect view. I mean, yeah. Two balls and a strike to count. That's missed 3-1. How many cups of Gatorade are you on now, Adam?
I finished 4. Next I need 5.
All right, you finished through 4 cups. Your fifth one's due up in the 5th. All right. Feeling hydrated? 3-1 pitch. Line to center, but Ray is there. Makes the catch. Nice job by Ray. Was perfectly positioned to get the out. 2 gone here in the 4th inning. Samantha Ray continues her stellar play at center field. Comilla will come to the plate. Comilla left-handed hitter, slap hitter foul. It's kind of strange to see Comilla wearing number 10. Every time I see a Gator wearing number 10, I think of Francesca Aneo. That was her number here. And she played here. And got inducted to the Florida Hall of Fame about a couple of years ago. 0-1 pitch to Comilla from Vegas. Missed there for a ball. 1-1 to count. A ball and a strike to count. What has turned into a beautiful evening here in Gainesville, Florida. Beautiful weather for some softball. Top 25 softball. That's missed high. Ball is 2-1 as Damon will talk to Vega. Is there such a thing as getting too hydrated after drinking that much Gatorade? Like, is there any concerns here afterwards, or no concerns? Okay, it's all for the team. I understand. Brian, our SID is literally just, you won't even, I mean, taking photos from a lot of different angles. Comilla hits a pop-up to short. Aubrey Evans makes the catch. Side retired. A 1-2-3 inning for Vega and the Knights here in the fourth. We are through 4 innings here in KSP with the score. Florida 2 and UCF nothing. This is UCF Softball. Welcome back. Top of the 5th inning here in Gainesville. A 2-0 lead for Florida on a 2-run shot from Kendall Grover. Back in the 3rd inning, that's the difference in the ball game. Keegan Rothrock has gone the first 4 innings for Florida, has been masterful so far. Against Isabella Vega, great pitching matchup as we anticipated with these two. Rick Lopez here with you. Of course, the first of 2 meetings between these two teams. They'll play tomorrow night in Orlando. 6 o'clock, first pitch. Game can be watched on ESPN+. Final home broadcast of the year, regular season. Well, definitely it's going to be home for me as far as ESPN Plus is concerned. Rest of the year I'll be on audio. Rothrock finishing up her warm-ups. Let's see what other scores we could get you here in the meantime, here in the top of the 5th. Baseball will start at the top of the hour in Salt Lake. Meanwhile, Mississippi State has just taken a 3-1 lead on LSU going to the top of the 4th in a big series in Starkville, with hosting ramifications there. Arkansas up 4-0 on Missouri. Texas all over Kentucky, 6-0 in the top of the 4th. Virginia Tech with a 2-1 lead over North Carolina in the 5th inning. Those are some of the notable scores. Coco Jaimes to lead it off here for the Knights. Swings to the first pitch, gets a base hit into the right side for a single for Jaimes. Got a good start for the Knights. Their 4th hit of the ball game comes via the Jaimes single to start the Knights' 5th inning. Knights have had base runners on. They just haven't had the situational hit yet. Florida really has had the one with the Grover home run. That's the difference in the game to this point. Now Calvis will come to the plate with Jaimes at first base. Calvis had a single in her previous at-bat. Takes the ball, 1-0 the count. So 1-0 the count to Zoe Calvis. That's missed outside, 2-0. 2-0 the count. Rothrock following 2-0 count here to Calvis. Left-handed hitter. Swing and a miss there. 2-1. Two and one the count. Calvis gets the bunt down. Fielded by Grover. Will throw to first in time with Comilla covering the bag. Jaimes will advance to second. It's a sacrifice bunt for Calvis, although, again, that's a little misleading. I think she was trying to bunt herself on. It does advance the runner into second base. So that's a positive with one out here in the 5th inning with Samantha Ray. First pitch to Ray is a ball. 1-0. Ray swings away, hits a fly ball to left center. Shoemaker makes the catch. Ray is retired for the second out of the inning. So now 2 outs with runner at second. It'll be up to Sierra Humphreys coming to the plate. Humphreys has walked and lined out, 0 for 1 tonight for Humphreys. She swings, hits a high fly ball. That ball is carrying. Thomas makes the catch near the warning track. A great play by Thomas near the fence there at 200 feet. Humphreys tried to give it a ride, but not enough. Just didn't get enough of it. That would have tied the game. Instead, it ends the inning. So the Knights get no runs on a hit, no errors, and strand 1. And at the end of 4.5 here in Gainesville, it's Florida 2 and UCF nothing. This is UCF Softball. Bottom of the 5th, 2-0 lead in favor of Florida. Isabella Vega warming up. Will start the 5th inning. Down 2-0. Shoemaker will lead it off for Florida. Other scores, as we keep an eye on other scores in the country. North Florida lost in extra innings to West Georgia, 6-4. That's an upset there in the A-Sun. Kansas run rules Iowa State in the first game in Lawrence, 12-2. The final. Kansas on the bubble for the NCAA tournament. Iowa State on the bubble for the Big 12 tournament. That's who UCF will play next weekend in Ames, Iowa. They're playing a doubleheader in Lawrence. Game 2 is underway. Iowa State with a 1-0 lead in the top of the 4th over Kansas. They're underway in Salt Lake, BYU and Utah. Utah won on a walk-off hit last night to take the first game of the Holy War, as they call that rivalry. No score in that one. Both of those teams on the bubble for the Big 12 tournament. Oklahoma State and Baylor is about to get underway. And then Houston at Arizona, and then the big one in Tempe, Texas Tech at Arizona State. Shoemaker takes a strike from Vega, 0-1 the count. The reason I keep saying Big 12 bubble, only the top 8 this year make the Big 12 championships in Oklahoma City. The last couple of years, it was 11. All 11 would get in, with top seeds getting bye weeks. Shoemaker drills a ball, deep center field. That ball is gone. Solo homer by the All-American Taylor Shoemaker gives the Gators a 3-0 lead on the solo homer by Shoemaker, her 16th of the year. Extends this Gator lead to 3. And for Shoemaker, that's career home run number 40. One of the nation's best, Shoemaker. That's a big home run for Shoemaker to extend the Gator lead to 3. Now Jocelyn Erickson. First pitch to Erickson is a ball. 1-0 the count. Man, what a player Shoemaker is. She is clearly the face of this Gator program as Erickson fouls it back. And she delivers her 40th career home run. Not even finished with her second year yet. Erickson with a 1-1 count here against Vega. Misses there 2-1. That Kansas-Iowa State series is also significant. Kansas is ahead of UCF in the Big 12 standings coming into this weekend. Kansas is in 4th place. UCF's in 5th. Oklahoma State's in 3rd. Arizona's in 2nd. That's the significance of that. As Erickson fouls it off. Count is 2-2. In fact, depending on how Kansas does, as the ball rolls off the net and back to the field, Kansas will finish the Big 12 next weekend against Oklahoma State. They have a big midweek with Wichita State. In between that, as the Jayhawks try to make the tournament. Right now, the Big 12 is in good shape, I think, for 6 bids, possibly 7 to make the tournament. 2-2. That's high for a ball. 3-2 now, the count to Erickson. Big 12 rated the number 2 conference in college softball, behind only the SEC. Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, Arizona, UCF, all within the top 20 in the RPI coming into today. 2-2 pitch. Erickson's frozen. Takes strike 3 as Vega gets the strikeout for the first out here in the 5th inning. Big strikeout for Vega. Will face Grover now here in the 3rd inning. First pitch is a strike to Grover, and it's 0-1 to count. So, those 4 teams I mentioned are all in the mix to host. Then you've got Arizona State, who's in the mid-20s RPI, 24 as a matter of fact, going into today. Are they going to say that hit Grover off the one-hopper? Oh, boy, yeah. A ball that went off the dirt and one hop to hitter is the ruling. And so Grover gets on here with 1 out. Let's see if Florida goes to huddle up here. Let's see what the Knights do here. Would this be it for Vega? Yep, that's going to be it. Coach Paul Malone's going to the bullpen. It's going to go to Ava Stewie. Will get the ball here for the Knights. So Vega done 4 1/3 innings, gives up 3 runs, 5 hits in the game. Made the 2 mistakes, obviously the 2-run homer to Grover, and then the solo home run to Taylor Shoemaker. So Ava Stewie getting the ball here for the Knights in the bottom of the 5th. And again, not to look ahead, but if you're Coach Paul Malone, Vega, I think, could be available if needed tomorrow night in Orlando. And certainly could always re-enter here as an option as well. But right now, give it a look to Ava Stewie, who's coming off the win against Kansas on Saturday for the freshman out of Fredericksburg, Texas. Getting the ball here in relief for the Knights. So Stewie getting the ball here. 6-4 with a 3.25 ERA on the year for Stewie, making her 20th appearance. 56 innings pitched, 36 strikeouts, 45 walks. Team's only hitting .207 against Stewie. In fact, all year, UCF pitching is only batting average against UCF's .214. That's among the best in the country and in the Big 12. You look at the numbers, Vega 199 against her, Dempsey 222 in her short time there, Vacoon 198 average there. Really the issues at times for this UCF pitching staff has been the walks. They've walked over 200 now this season, but that's a problem across the country all year long as a staff. Most of the teams in the country this year walking more. Walks are up, runs are up throughout the sport. Stewie is done warming up. She'll face Townsend Thomas with 1 on, 1 out here in the 5th. Thomas, redshirt freshman. takes the strike. It's 0-1 the count. Of course, you look at the SEC, teams like Missouri, Auburn, are teams that, in Kentucky, are teams that right now are fighting to just stay above 500 overall for the season. You have to be a 500 or above to be eligible to make the NCAA tournament. So Missouri needs wins. Kentucky needs wins. Auburn needs some wins down the stretch here, and that's significant because that could free up some bubbles, some spots. There's a swing and a miss. Throw to second. Not in time, not handled there as the steal is made by Kendall Grover, who gets her 4th steal of the year. And it's a 1-2 count now to Thomas. Cheyenne Irvin, by the way, catching. That switch was made as well in the catching spot. I think part of that, too, is to give Beth a break here a little bit. After that wear and tear that position catcher will take its toll. Thomas delivers up the middle through. Walton will hold Grover at third. It's a single for Thomas. And the Gators have runners at the corners, first and third here with one out. So first and third now for Cahalan. Cahalan at the plate, 0 for 2 tonight. First and third here, one out. Tries a squeeze play here. Safety squeeze. Stewie throw to first. Oh, threw it away. Humphreys couldn't handle it as the ball was thrown low. Grover scores, and the Gators extend the lead to 4-0. It was a safety squeeze. But Stewie's throw was too low to first. And once the ball got past Humphreys, Grover came in to score from third. So a 4-0 lead for Florida. That'll be an error. And it's second and third now with Ava Brown to the plate. Here against Stewie. First pitch, a strike, 0-1 the count. Time call on both sides. Leaning over here, second and third. They're at the bottom of the fifth. Stewie, oh, that's a wild pitch. It goes up, and it's going to score Thomas. And it is 5-0 Florida. So a 5-0 lead for the Gators on the wild pitch. So an error and a wild pitch in the inning here. It's giving the Gators a couple of runs here now as the Gators have opened this up a little bit. Can't make those mistakes against a team like Florida. Runner at third, one out, a 2-2 count. Swung on by Brown and fouled it back. So we'll do it again. Three runs in the inning for Florida. Two-two pitch from Stewie. That is missed. 3-2. Three balls, two strikes to count. Payoff pitch. Brown hits it to left. It'll go foul. We'll do it again, 3-2. Stewie on the payoff pitch. And Brown hits it to the right field. Back goes Calvis. Back at the wall. And it's gone. It left the park just out of the reach of Calvis. And it's a home run for Ava Brown. Just out of the reach of Zoe Calvis. And for Ava Brown, it's her 7th home run of the year. Thought for a moment Calvis jumped up and nearly came up with it. But it was just out of her reach. And it's 7-0 Florida. And that might be it for Stewie. Yeah, that'll be it for Stewie. As this Gator offense has gotten 5 runs. I'm looking at the replay here. Boy, that was just close to Calvis coming up with it. Ooh. And so that'll be it for Stewie. Macy Miles will come in to pitch for the Knights. Again, an error, a wild pitch has contributed to this inning. Can't do that against a team like Florida. Stewie will learn from that experience and this environment, and as well as this Knights team, but that was a tough one. And again, the Cal's just inches away from making that catch. So it's 7-0 in favor of Florida. So Macy Miles coming in relief. Of course, I was here one time. I attended a Florida LSU football game where Macy Miles' dad, Les Miles, and LSU won here at Florida. Leonard Fournette's freshman year. It was a fun atmosphere at the Swamp, that they called it, at night. Oh, Adam attended the same game. I was not in the end zone seats. I was, I don't have those good of seats. That was a fun game, though. 24-21. Fournette was phenomenal as a freshman. Les Miles, the head coach, and here we are. That was, what year was that? That was, freshman was 2014, so that would have been 12 years ago. And here we are 12 years later, after Les Miles coached that game, and Macy Miles is here pitching. Not too far away from Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. Cassidy McClellan at the plate. Takes a pitch from Miles. To throw a lot of off-speed stuff here from Miles. 1-0 the count. The 1-0 pitch. Missed there. 2-0. So 2-0 the count to McClellan. Macy Miles falling behind here. That's missed there, 3-0. Again, Cheyenne Irvin still catching. Three and 0 the count. That's a strike. It's 3-1. McClellan. Three-one pitch. Nice change. That's the vintage Macy Miles pitch, changeup. And it's full, 3-2. Payoff pitch from Miles. McClellan hits it to center. Ray is there to make the catch. Two gone here in the fifth. So two gone. That'll bring up Madison Walker to the plate. Walker, right-handed hitter, 1 for 2 tonight. Takes the first pitch, strike from Miles, 0-1. Ball and a strike now, the count to Walker. One pitch. Just missed high, 2-1. 7 runs, 7 hits, no errors for Florida. No runs, 3 hits, 1 error for UCF. This was a 2-0 game going into this 5th inning. Two-one pitch. Off speed, foul back. Vega gave up 3 runs. The ninth bullpen, Stewie and now Miles. Here in the first of 2 meetings. These 2 teams will play again tomorrow night in Orlando. Six o'clock first pitch. 2-2 from Miles. Swing and a miss as Miles gets the strikeout to end the inning. But the Gators get 5 runs, aided by the Shoemaker solo homer and an Ava Brown 2-run homer. And at the end of 5 here in Gainesville, it's the Gators with a 7-0 lead. This is UCF Softball. Top of the 6 here in Gainesville, a 7-0 lead in favor of Florida. Eric Lopez here with you. Keegan Rothrock back to work. And we'll We'll see if the Knights can muster at least a rally here. Down 7. It'll be Aubrey Evans to lead it off, followed by Beth Damon and Izzy Mertez. 2, 3, 4 to hit are the scheduled night hitters against Rothrock. Check some scores here for you in a moment as Evans, right-handed senior, steps in. Takes a strike. It's 0-1 to count. Top of the 6th in Fayetteville, Arkansas, with a 4-0 lead over Missouri. Top of the 6th in Starkville, Mississippi State, with a 3-1 lead over LSU in the first of that 3-game series in Starkville. Ole Miss and Auburn scoreless in the top of the 3rd in Auburn. South Carolina with an early 3-0 lead over Texas A&M in the bottom of the 2nd up in Columbia, South Carolina. 1-1 pitch to Evans. Missed there, 2-1 to count to Aubrey. They're underway in Norman, Georgia, and Oklahoma. Those are some of the notable scores. 2-1 to count to Evans. Reaches for it, ground lines it to 3rd, caught by Grover. 1 down here in the 6th. Beth Damon will come to the plate. Damon 0 for 2 tonight. Will step in. First pitch to strike, 0-1 to count. The 0-1 pitch from Rothrock. Damon hits it to center. Shoemaker makes the catch. 2 down. Here in the 6th. Update from Lawrence, Kansas. Iowa State with a 3-0 lead now, and Kansas in the top of the 5th trying to salvage a split in that Big 12 series after Kansas won the first game 12-2. Mertez takes for a ball, 1-0 the count. Should Kansas lose that game, that would drop them to 12-8 overall in the Big 12. There's a strike. It's a ball and a strike. Of course, UCF's already at 12 wins in Big 12 play. They've played an extra series. UCF, I believe, is 12-8-1 in the Big 12. So I'm just trying to do the math in my head. If Kansas loses, that's 12-8. I'm not sure how the winning percentage might. It's pretty much close to even. If Iowa State were to win that series, UCF would move into 4th place. That's probably the simplest way I could describe it. 1-1 to Damon, or Mertez, I should say. Missed there, 2 balls and a strike to Mertez. Utah with a 2-0 lead over BYU in the bottom of the 2nd there. Oklahoma State Baylor underway. Mertez fouls it off. Houston and Arizona later tonight at 9 o'clock, as well as Texas Tech and Arizona State playing there. Oklahoma State 11-7 in Big 12 play. Arizona 12-6. 2-2 the count to Izzy Mertez. High 3-2. Rothrock, payoff pitch. Mertez slices it to left, goes foul. Duke has now a 4-2 lead over Clemson, bottom of the 5th in Durham. Florida State has opened it up to 4-0 over Georgia Tech in the top of the 7th in that one. That's in Atlanta. 3-2 the count to Izzy Mertez. Nobody on, 2 outs here for the Knights. Rothrock delivers. Mertez grounds to second. Comilla's there. Will throw to first in time to retire the side. 1-2-3 inning for Rothrock and the Gators. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Gators with a 7-0 lead. This is UCF Softball. Bottom of the 6th inning here in Gainesville, 7-0 lead in favor of Florida. Macy Miles going back to work. A reminder at the top of the hour, UCF baseball will be underway. They'll take on Utah. Mark Daniels is out in Salt Lake for the first of a 3-game series there. So he'll have the call. We certainly encourage you to check that out following the conclusion of this game. See what Tim Walton, here's mine, to see if he's... Gators will go to the bench here to start the 6th inning here. Ella Wizolowski will hit here for the Gators to start it off. Of course, these two teams will play again tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, and if the Knights must come back with a comeback here, they'll certainly have to regroup, think about the opportunities. They won't get to see Rothrock tomorrow, that's for sure, more than likely. It'll be interesting to see what the Florida staff decides to throw tomorrow. Same with UCF with Vega pitching tonight. Wizolowski takes the strike. It's 0-1 the count to Wizolowski against Macy Miles. That's missed for a ball. 1-1 the count. One and one the count. Miles delivers. Low for a ball. The Knights have won 3 times here in Gainesville. They won in 2005 in the Gainesville Regional, eliminating Florida for UCF's first ever NCAA tournament win. As Wozolowski hits a fly ball to right, Calvis is there to make the catch for the first out here in the 6th. UCF, of course, beat Florida 1-0 in the 08 regional final here in Gainesville. Allison Kime outdueling Stacey Nelson, on the shutout that ended Florida's 41-game win streak here at KSP and 36 overall that season. The Gators would go on to win the if necessary game to advance to the Super Regionals. That was UCF's first ever regional final. Taylor Shoemaker now at the plate. Takes for a ball. And of course, the last time UCF won here, 2021, in a game that's known as the flat tire game. UCF's bus got a flat tire on the way here. Florida, very kind of them, actually sent their bus to pick up UCF, to bring them over to Gainesville. And then UCF starting hitting right from the first inning on. Justine Molina with a home run in that game. Knights would go on to win that game going away 7-0. In fact, UCF won both games that year against Florida. A ball and a strike to Shoemaker. That's a ball, 2-1 to count. UCF that year won a dramatic game in Orlando, 8-6, on a walk-off 2-run homer by Carissa Ornelas. Knights scored 3 in the 7th in that game. They were down in the bottom of the 7th. Came back to win. Jada Cody with an RBI double tied the game up in that one. As Shoemaker takes it there for a ball. 3-1 to count to Taylor Shoemaker. Of course, UCF won last year's meeting in Orlando, the last meeting, shutting him out. Shoemaker hits a ball to center. Ray is under it, makes the catch, and Shoemaker is retired with 2 outs here in the 6th. I'll bring up Jocelyn Erickson, but you had a feeling UCF was going to see Florida's best tonight. Florida coming off the loss to Florida State 3-1 and had lost 2 of their last 3 games. They were shut out by Auburn on Saturday, came back and won Sunday. That kind of was a downer in a day where Jocelyn Erickson was awarded the golden ticket. Her and Kenley Cahalan both were awarded the golden ticket. They'll be playing in the AUSL. They'll be drafted when that draft comes out here in a few weeks. So you had a feeling the Gators were going to be locked and ready here and focused. And they have played a clean game here. And the Knights were with them until this 5th inning kind of did them in. And they're down 7-0 here. Miles down in the count 2-0 to Erickson. The 2-0. Jocelyn pops it up. Foul territory. Jaimez makes the catch. Side retired. Good job by Macy Miles, who works a 1-2-3-6. But the Knights will have their last chance coming to the top of the 7th. Down 7. This is UCF Softball. I know. New pitcher for the Florida Gators as we enter the top of the 7th. Rothrock goes 6 innings. As the Gators call upon Caitlin Oxley, the sophomore, to come in for Rothrock, who throws 6 shutout innings. Adam DeRusha, I'm happy to report, has finished all his 7 Gatorade Cups. Unfortunately, barring a Knights comeback here, that will not work. I'll take the blame for this. You know, I haven't called an audio game in like 4 years, and now I'll take the loss. This is not you. This is on me.
You needed 7 yourself.
I might have needed 7 cups myself, yeah. This is going to be our first loss sitting together. We said we went undefeated in Tampa. We'll always have Tampa, Adam. So we'll see. Pinch hitter looks like for the Knights, possibly, is Cheyenne Irvin. Will hit here in the 7th here against Oxley. So Cheyenne Irvin will hit here. Remember, she came in to catch when Ava Stewie came in the 5th inning. Cheyenne Irvin, freshman from Lafayette, Louisiana. Steps in. Right-handed power hitter against Oxley. She'll be followed by Griffin and Jaimes. Those are the scheduled night hitters. Knights will head back to Orlando following this game and get ready for tomorrow night. It's almost like a de facto series. You got to put it behind you. Remember, a couple weeks ago, UCF on a Friday night lost to Arizona State on Friday night, facing Kenzie Brown, who was magnificent that night, an All-American pitcher, 13 strikeouts. Knights lost that game, 8-1, I believe. Came back, though, the next night and beat Arizona State. So, as Irvin is ahead 3-0. Knights won that series, would go on to win that series in Tempe. 3-0 the count. The strike, 3-1. Next weekend, UCF will be on the road at Iowa State, trying to go perfect this year on the road in Big 12 series. They have not lost a Big 12 series this year on the road. The only two series they lost were at home to Texas Tech and Baylor. Irvin swings and fouls it back, and it's 3-2. So 3-2 the count. That's pretty remarkable to suggest. In fact, UCF has won at Arizona State, one in Houston, one at Oklahoma State to start Big 12 play. Payoff pitch. Oxley misses, ball 4, and Irvin draws a leadoff walk for the Knights here in the 7th. Let's see what Coach Ball Malone will do here. He's going to go to Reagan Vaucoon. Looks like it's going to hit here, possibly. Yeah, going to hit for Griffin. Looks like we're also going to have a pinch hitter for the Knights. It looks like Destiny Washington. Pinch. Nope, actually it's Ayala Durant. Ayala Durant, pitch running. See, again, obstructed view here, folks. I was hesitant. You notice that was the question mark here. Different angle. So Durant will pinch run here for Irvin, who draws the walk. Reagan Vaucoon, who's a two-way player, will hit here. Left-handed bat against Oxley. And I think part of this, too, is you want to get some of your young players some experience on the road in an environment like this, because you're going to need them not in a couple of weeks for the conference tournament in Oklahoma City and certainly in the regionals if you're on the road in the regionals. The 1-0. It's a swing and a miss by Vaucoon. 1-1 the count. As we're approaching nearly the 2-hour mark in this ball game. Vaucoon takes the strike, and now Oxley ahead 1-2. 1-2 the count. Oxley from Bartow, Florida, delivers a wild pitch upstairs. That'll get Ayala Durant to go to second. So the freshman Durant now in scoring position at second base. With nobody out in a 2-2 count to Vaucoon. The pitch, swing and a miss. Oxley blows it past Vaucoon. And the freshman Vaucoon goes down on strikes for the first out here in the 7th inning. That'll bring up Coco Jaimes to the plate. So Jaimes to hit here. Oxley, who could be one of the keys to the Gators the rest of the year, is ground ball to second. Jaimes hits it to Comilla, throws to first in time to retire Jaimes. Durant advances to third, but the Knights are down to their last out. These are important innings for Oxley as the Gators try to figure out their number 2 situation. It'll be interesting to see who they call tomorrow. Again, these two teams will play again tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. Zoe Calvis now at the plate. Runner at third and 2 outs. First pitch to Zoe. He's a ball. 1-0 the count. 7 runs, 7 hits, no errors for Florida. No runs, 3 hits, 1 error for UCF. The 1-0. It's a strike. 1-1. Calvis 1 for 1 today. He's reached base a couple times. Sacrifice bunt. And that is missed. Ball 2. 2-1 the count. To Zoe Calvis. Two and one the count. Oxley delivers. It's a strike, and it's 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes the count. The pitch from Oxley. Calvis gets a piece of it, stays alive. Knights have had only three hits today, but they've gotten runners on almost every inning, either with a walk or the hit. They just haven't had that big hit tonight. Two. Outside, ball 3. 3-2 the count. Three balls and 2 strikes the count. Oxley delivers. Calvis grounds to second. Comilla is there. Throw to first, and the ball game is over. And the Florida Gators take this game 7-0 the final. Florida improves to 44-7 on the year. UCF drops to 36-13-1. Keegan Rothrock 24-5 on the season, improves to Isabella Vega, takes the loss at 16-7. Game went 2 hours. Exact is your time of the game. So it was Florida, the 5-run 5th inning, big difference. Home runs, 3 home runs for the Florida offense. Home runs from Kendall Grover, 2-run homer. Back in the 3rd, home run by Shoemaker in the 5th inning, solo shot, 2-run homer by Ava Brown in the 5th. Knights will regroup. We'll have a rematch of this game tomorrow night, 6 o'clock from Orlando at the UCF Softball Complex. Game will be televised on ESPN+. I will be joined by Alex Powers on that broadcast. Thanks to Eric DeSalvo, the executive producer, helped set all this up in the broadcast, as well as Mark Daniels, who is in Salt Lake, Utah. UCF and Utah baseball about to get underway. We encourage you to check that out on UCFKnights.com for all the details on that, UCF_baseball, and on 96.9 The Game locally there, as well as on the iHeart app. For now, Eric Lopez saying so long from Gainesville, Florida, with a final score, the number 5 ranked Florida Gators 7, and number 21 ranked UCF Knights 0. Till Saturday night, 6 o'clock. We'll talk to you then. Eric Lopez saying good night from Gainesville. This has been UCF Softball.